Welcome to Eres Cultural Center Zohar Connection class. This week's parasha, we're going to read two parashiyot this Shabbat. We're going to read Tazria and Metzora. Most of the time we read these two together. They are connected, they are one concept. And by the way, Chag Sameach. Today is Israeli 67th year anniversary or Independent Day. In Israel they call it Chag Sameach. One time my rabbi told me it's the 7th holiday. There's 6 holidays mentioned in the Torah, Zer Anpin, and Israel Independent Day, Israel beginning is the 7th holiday. So Chag Sameach. I was watching the news about the 67th year anniversary of Israel. Amazing. They were talking the day before the Independent Day is the biggest happy holiday in Israel. They have fireworks and parties and is truly, honestly, is the happiest day of the year. The day before the Independent Day is the Memorial Day for the fallen soldier. And there's always conflict how they put the saddest day right next to the happiest day. I mean, on Wednesday, everybody were mourning, everybody go to cemeteries, and that night, all of a sudden, everybody changed their clothes and they start partying and dancing and laughing. And it's such a duality. And I look into it this year, and there is a concept called mituk dinim, sweetened judgment. You know, like making challah is sweetening judgment. You know, we weave the challah, we try to connect chesed and gevurah, judgment and kindness, we try to weave them together. Everything we do, everything we learn is how to sweeten judgments, how to sweeten our life. So Ben Gurion in 1951, the first Israel Prime Minister, he's the one that decided to put the Memorial Day next to Independent Day, and he says, "Yeah, I want to do mituk dinim. I want to sweeten judgment." I mean, 1951, Ben Gurion, he didn't know Kabbalah. He didn't have this consciousness of Zohar and Torah. He didn't wear a kippah all his life. But it's amazing how he had the consciousness, how he had the wisdom to find a way to sweeten the judgment. You know, we don't want to fall into depression. Almost every family in Israel lost a son or husband. So he had this wisdom to bring happiness to a sad day. Like we said last week, we don't want to be in depression for too long. We don't want to be in sadness for too long. We don't want to be in darkness for too long. So he had the wisdom to put the happiest day right, actually same day of the saddest day, because at night time they start the happiness. Another good news about Independent Day, last year they started a new unit in the Israeli army that they joined the army people that have their autism. How you say it? Autistic. They start recruiting autistic people to the Israeli army. Not because they want to use them, because they want to empower them. And where they're using them in intelligent, because they know how to decode secret things from the enemy. Like the autistic people, they have this gift. Maybe they cannot control their body, maybe they cannot talk straight, but when they look at something, they have this gift that they can find codes, they can find hidden codes. And that was the first year that they've been doing this, and it's amazing. What a country that brings light to every single person in the universe. Other countries, God forbidden, they kill or they hurt or they torture, handicapped people. But in Israel, they give them a uniform. We should have seen these people. I mean, you give nobody a uniform and a rank and an army hat. What a great feeling.
I saw it in Facebook.
You saw it. So that was the first year they done it, and again, it's not because Israel using them, because they want to make them proud, they want to make them worthy of something. So that was about Israel Independence Day. Again, Chag Sameach. This week, Tazria and Metzora. But again, before we go to Tazria and Metzora, I want to talk about Omer. We are in this period of time that called Omer. Zohar connection class is not about information, it's about being connected to that energy that's available this week. Omer is 49 days from Passover all the way to Shavuot. We explained last week that there is 7 Sefirot, and in each Sefirot there is another 7 Sefirot. They got divided into 7, so altogether we have 49. We give an example. If there is a building with 7 stories, the first floor is doctors. We can have doctors, for kids. We can have doctor for adults. We can have doctor for heart. We can have doctor for brain. Second floor, it could be lawyers. It could be personal injury lawyer. It could be a criminal lawyer. So we have 7 levels in each Sephirah. Altogether is 49. Omer is to prepare ourselves for Shavuot, to receive the biggest light, to receive the Torah. And in order for us to be worthy of it, to receive this light, we have to go through this process. We have to go through the process of first week practicing kindness and love. The second week practicing strength, to be strong enough to say no and stop our negative behavior, speech, or thoughts. The third week, which we are at as it right now, is Tiferet, is balance, is having peace and bringing unity and bringing Chassidut, bringing Rahmanut. Netzach, the next week, is going to be about being victorious, having emunah, having bitachon, having certainty. The week after is about shalom and peace. Then Yesod is foundation, is friendship, good family, Torah. And then the last week is about Malchut, is about joy and happiness. So today, tonight, like maybe in 10-15 minutes, we're going to be the Yesod of Tiferet. To make it clear for you, last class, we didn't know what day is what's going on. This week, by the way, is exactly falling to the same year we left Egypt. We left Egypt on a Sunday morning, and it was Chesed, and this year is also exactly on Sunday morning. So every Shabbat we start a new Sefirah. Like this Shabbat we're going to start Netzach. Sunday is going to be Chesed. Monday is going to be Gevurah. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And again, on Shabbat we're going to start a new Sefirah. So every Shabbat is a new Sefirah, and every Sunday is going to be the Chesed of that Sefirah. And the other important thing about Omer is not only to elevate ourselves, it's not only about learning how to be a better person. We find this big secret this year that there is 50 gates we pray on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, before the Ne'ilah, there is a Kaddish, and we ask for 50 gates to God open for us. We have 50 gates on Yom Kippur, and we have 50 days. The 50th day is Shavuot, 50 days of the Omer. And this first 6 months of the year is the potential. The second 6 months is the actual. If I want to build a building, first I think about it, and then I'm going to bring it to the physicality. So there is a connection between these 50 days of Omer and the 50 gates that we ask for God to open for us on Kippur. Gate of health, gate of happiness, gate of parnasah, gate of friendship, gate of love. The secret I learned this year is that in order for God to open those gates on Yom Kippur for us, we have to buy the ticket for it. We have to earn that opening on Omer. So, for example, if on Kippur I ask for Share Parnasat Tova, for a business, for a good income on Kippur, on the day that is corresponded to that day, I have to practice, Parnasa Tova. I have to give it tzedakah. I have to take care of my employees. I have to take care of the postman. I have to give Parnasa in order for me to receive Parnasa. We give an example, if I go to a club, in order for them to open the gate for me, I have to have the right ticket, I have to have the right dress, I can't wear like a gang cap, they won't let me go in. So in order for the gate to open for me, I have to have the right ticket. So these 50 days of Omer, we are earning that ticket for the gate on Kippur by practicing it. Tonight, it's so amazing. Tonight gate is Sha'arei Sodot Torato, gate of the secret of his Torah. And it's not an accident that on a night like this we are studying Torah, we are studying Zohar. This is amazing. It looks like somebody designed it from the first day of creation, that on a night like this, we're going to study, we're going to ask for the secret of the Torah. And by reading, Sha'arei Sodot Torato. So by talking about Torah, by opening the Zohar, we are already buying the ticket for Yom Kippur, that God's going to open the gate for understanding the Torah better, seeing the secrets, and bringing it to our life. We are so lucky. When I saw it, that it's falling tonight, I say it can't get any better than that. If it would be tomorrow night, maybe tomorrow night I wouldn't practice Torah, but tonight we are practicing, so we are earning that gate for us to open on Yom Kippur. I think it's dark enough, so we can go ahead and say the blessing for Omer. Today is the 20th day of Omer, and another thing about the Omer, when we count the Omer, we say weeks and days. The reason we say weeks, because we want to know on what Sephirah we are, and then the days tell us the Sephirah within that Sephirah. And if you don't mind, please stand up and let's do the mitzvah of Omer. Every night, you have the handout. I encourage you to say the Sefirat Omer and look at the corresponded practice that we have to do. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, on Yom Kippur, we're going to receive, that gate's going to open to us. It takes 1 year. It takes 1 year for us to receive anything. It takes 1 year for us to achieve something. It takes 1 year for us to transform ourselves. So if we start practicing this from now, by Yom Kippur, we're going to complete that 1 year and we're going to achieve what we need. So please say the Amen after this blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Elenu melech haolam asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Hayom 20 yom la'omer shehem 2 shavuot ו6 ימים. ענה בכוח גדולת ימיניך תתיר צרורה, קבל רינת עמך סגבנו תארנו נורא, נא גיבור דורשי איכותך כבבת שמרם, ברכם תארם רחמי צדקתך תמיד גומלם, חסין קדוש ברוב תוכה נהל עלתך, יחיד גאה לעמך פני זוכרי קדושתך, שבתנו קבל ושמע צעקתנו יודע תעלומות. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו. Amen. Thank you very much. We did the mitzvah of Omer. And again, tonight, secret is Sha'arei Sodot Torato, gates of secrets of the Torah. It can't get any better than that. We're going to study Torah. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, on Yom Kippur, they're going to open the full gates of understanding the Torah. This is one of the lessons from last week's class. We also, last week's class, talked about Aaron and his son. His son passed away on last parasha, and Aaron had this big job to do. He had to be the Kohen Gadol. We learned that he stayed quiet, he didn't mourn, he continued doing his job. The lesson for us is, no matter what a challenge we have in our life, no matter what comes to us. We never fall into depression. We never fall into sadness. We keep doing our job. Aaron didn't quit his job. He kept doing it. And that's the lesson for us. The other exciting and very interesting lesson we had, that is my favorite lesson in the Torah, was about pure animals. Last week the Torah talked about pure animals, and this week is talking about how we purify ourselves. Last week we learned that the Torah says all the animals that their hoof is split and they chew their cud, they are pure, that we can consume them. But the Torah says, be careful, don't make a mistake. There is two animals in the whole animal kingdom that their hoof is not split, but they chew their cud. It's the camel and the rabbit. And he says the other, don't make a mistake also with the pig, because pig is hoof is split, but he doesn't chew his cud. So Torah, black and white, he make this commitment, he make this contract. He says the whole animal kingdom, there is only 3 animals that has these specifications. So we spoke about the oldest Torah we have in the world is from 2,000 years ago, and is identical to our Torah. 2,000 years ago, nobody knew about the American continent, nobody knew about Australia, nobody knew about Far East, they didn't know about North Pole, South Pole. There are millions of islands with their own animals that there is nowhere else. So who is behind this Torah? What wisdom? Who knew this? Who can possibly knew about this fact? And we got to the conclusion, only the creator, whoever that created this animal, knew what he is creating. If you ask me to give you a contract today that's going to be good for 2,000 years from now, I said, no way, I can't even give you a contract for next year that's going to be good enough. So it teaches us how powerful our Torah is, how above nature our Torah is, how divine our Torah is. I think this should be the first lesson anybody learn about the Torah. And please pass it on to your friends, families, children. Should be the first lesson. It's make him start thinking. The day I learned about this thing, this is the day I changed my course from being in science and I switched to become a spiritual person. Because this fact is so overwhelming. And I share with you guys that still they're finding new animals. This past week they find 2 new animals. I mean, how is it possible that we talk about this and the same week they find 2 new animals? They find a new monkey in Nepal and they find a new frog in Costa Rica. Only this past 2 weeks. So they're still finding new animals, but the Torah, black and white, with this confidence, telling us there is only 3 animals with this special characteristics. So it was a great confidence. I couldn't believe the news that we talk about it and then they come up with this new frog and a new monkey. I'm pretty sure in the past 2,000 years and in the next 2,000 years they won't find anything, close to a camel or a pig. And like we said, in World War II, the Germans, sent scientists all around the world to prove Torah wrong, to find another animal that has this characteristic, and they couldn't find it. And maybe there are still people looking, and they couldn't find it. So the Torah is the source of light, is the source of blessing. Baruch Hashem, we are in a stage that we don't need to prove the Torah is the correct thing, but it was a very good lesson for me, for my children, is to whoever want to bring him to spirituality, this is a good lesson to start with. So we're going to move on to this week's parasha. We're going to read 2 parashiot, Tazria and Metzora. The meaning of Tazria means to plant a seed, and Metzora is that disease, leprosy. Do I pronounce it right? Yes. Leprosy. So first, we're going to read about Tazria, means planting a seed, and then Metzora is this disease that doesn't exist anymore. And the interesting thing is the whole 2 parshiot, the Torah talks about this disease. Only the very beginning of Tazria, it talks about having a woman having a boy and a girl, and then it switched to this disease. And for the next two parashas, it only talks about this disease. So if we change around the letters a little bit, Tazria means to plant a seed. It says if you move the letters around, is Ezrat Yud, is Ezrat Adonai, or Ezrat Wisdom of God, or Ezrat Torah. He says any seed you want to plant. You want to start a new business. You want to have new children. You want to start a new class. Any new movement you want to make, the spirituality must be part of it. You must inject holiness in it. And Tazria is also Zera Kadosh. Tazria means planting seed. Zera means a holy seed. Zera is right here. Taf Yud is the same numerical value of Kadosh. So I mean every seed you want to plant, any new beginning must be holy. And Metzora, the next parasha, that means the leprosy, is if you don't have to change anything, if you just open it up, Metzora means whoever speaks evil tongue. So the secret, the Torah telling us, this horrible disease is consequence of evil tongue, evil speech. Let's talk about Tazria a little bit. Tazria is, the Torah says, if a woman having a baby boy, first she's unpure for 1 week, and then she's unpure for 33 days. And if she's having a baby girl, she's impure for the first 2 weeks, like a major impurity, and then it's going to take 66 days of general impurity. So it says if a woman having a baby girl, she's impure for double the time when she's having a baby boy. This is in Kabbalah we always say that women are in a higher level than men. Women are more spiritual, more elevated. When this living thing, when this huge light come out of the body of a woman, it creates a lack. So the Torah tells us when the baby girl born, she creates a bigger lack in a woman's body. A bigger light gets disconnected from the woman. Since she has more light, then she stays impure for longer time. But men is also have a light, but have smaller light than woman. So the woman stays impure for a shorter amount of time. Is it clear that the woman that borns, she takes away more light from the mother? And since there is a lack of light, it takes her a longer time to bring back that light. This is how we learn that the woman is in a higher level of spirituality and consciousness. Another secret that is very beautiful says the 33 days that the Torah is talking about is the 33 days of Omer, up to Lag BaOmer. From the beginning of Omer to Lag BaOmer, we have 33 days. And it says when you're having a boy, the woman stays impure for 33 days. Zohar explained to us that man is in a consciousness of a doer, of being proactive. He says if you are a proactive person, if you want to change your life, if you want to transform yourself to a better person, take care of those 33 days of Omer. Do the mitzvah of Omer. And if you are a passive person, if you are waiting for God to create a miracle for you, then you have to practice the 66 days. 66 days is from the beginning of Nisan until Shavuot. You have Shavuot is Vav of Sivan. So we have 2 months and 6 days, which is 66 days. So if you are proactive, if you want to become a better person, all you have to do, practice the 33 days of Omer. If you're not proactive, then it's going to take you a longer time, 2 months and 6 days, to learn and change and elevate yourself. That was the short part of Tazria. We're going to move on to Metzora. Metzora, like I said, is a disease of leprosy that we don't have it anymore. Zohar explained to us that that disease, that horrible disease that doesn't exist anymore, shows itself today in different faces. I hate to say this name, but cancer, our time disease of cancer is the same disease that they had during the Bible time, leprosy. And the Zohar and the Torah explained to us that the source of this disease was evil tongue. How can evil tongue, how can a speech create such a horrible disease? We learned before that Lashon Hara is not only speaking evil, there is 4 ways that we can do Lashon Hara. The first one obviously is speaking evil, talking in evil tongue. And there is one trick, one formula to it, to not to speak evil, is replace any person that you want to talk evil about or make a Lashon Hara with God. Because we are all made in the image of God. If some guy, I'm so tempted to talk ugly about him, or if I want to talk evil about him, I have to train myself. And, there is a godliness in him. He has a soul, he has a neshama. If I evil talk about him, it's like I'm going against God. If I'm talking bad about my own creator, how do I expect to stay healthy? How do I expect to have a good business? How do I expect to have a good family? So there is godliness in everything, in all the people, in all animal kingdom, in all vegetations, in all not even living things. We're going to talk about it right now. So if I talk against my creator, if I talk about the source of my blessing, if I talk evil about any creation of the creator, so that means I'm going against him. If somebody is not polite to us, if somebody is not nice to us, how does he expect for us to be nice to him? So if we go against any creation of the creator, then he's going to close the gate on us. One of the meaning of Metzora, of leprosy disease, is to be closed, to not to be open. This gate is closed on us. The Zohar gives a very nice explanation. He says, if our brain, our consciousness don't send the right message to our body, then our body is not going to function right. Somebody, God forbid, is handicapped. It's not because his body parts, it's because the brain doesn't send the right message. So if I'm disconnecting myself from my creator, if I close the gate, how he's supposed to send me blessing? How he's supposed to send me goodness? So one of the meaning of Metzora is to be closed. So we said there is 4 ways to do evil tongue. One of them is talking ugly, bad, negative, harmful, evil about anything, not only people, about the weather, about the countries. So we want to eliminate this evil speech. The second Lashon Hara is not talking good, not saying good things. If I'm not saying good things, that's considered also Lashon Hara. If I'm not pleasant to you, if I don't say hello, how are you, how is your day, if I don't smile at you, if I don't encourage you with positive words, that's also considered Lashon Hara. So we are obligated to say good things. From the morning to the evening, we are supposed to say good things. So Zohar says spiritual things, but whatever good comes out of your conscience and mind, you're supposed to speak it. There is a story in Zohar. It says there was this huge Kabbalist, and he was very sick. It was end of his days. He couldn't speak, and in order for his students to listen to him, they had to get really close to his mouth and hear him whispering. One day a rabbi passed by, and he see like hundreds of students. They gather for hours, and they're trying to hear this Kabbalist what he's saying. The rabbi then says, you know, I have a 5 minutes speech in my synagogue, nobody want to listen to me, everybody's walking away, and I'm loud, and I have a good message, but nobody listen to me. You guys sitting here for hours, and you're trying to pick on this guy's whispering, what's the secret? Then the students told the rabbi, says, listen, each time we needed the Kabbalist to hear us, he gave attention to us. He listened to us for hours, for days if he had to. But you, if he come to you, you always say you're busy, you don't have the time, or you don't have the solution. So the third way of doing Lashon Hara, God forbidden, is not listening, not hearing good things. I have to put myself in a position to hear Divrei Torah, to hear holiness, positive things. What you guys are doing right now, you're totally going against the Lashon Hara. You guys came here to hear wisdom, Torah, Zohar, so that's wonderful. And the fourth one is listening to Lashon Hara. If I sit down and I hear evil speech, I'm obligated to change that conversation. If I cannot change that conversation, I have to stand up and walk away. So hearing evil speech is also Lashon Hara. So just to complete it, what the Zohar, the Torah talking about, leprosy, having a disease, he says is a consequence of Lashon Hara, which comes into evil speech, not talking good things. We are obligated to hear good speech and not to put ourselves in a position to hear evil speech. Not the Torah and the Zohar, it takes it even further. He says if we speak evil speech, it affects our clothing, it affects our food, it affects our house, our building. It can affect the chair, it can affect the table. And how is that possible? I mean, how this material, how this piece of wood can be affected by evil speech? And the Torah said it this week that sick people go to the priest and says, yeah, my house has a leprosy, or my clothing has leprosy. How is it possible? How can a clothing or a house get sick? And by the way, the Zohar says, why, if somebody had this sickness, why the Torah says go to a priest, not to go to a doctor? I mean, Torah is the biggest wisdom of the world. You know, if somebody has a sickness, why the Torah says go to a priest? Because the Zohar explained to us, the sickness is not a physical sickness. The sickness is a spiritual sickness. So by going to a priest, he can open those gates for us again. He can open the spirituality. He can open these gates of blessing and light again for us. A doctor, for these cases, is just a temporary, but it doesn't solve this issue from the source. A priest recognizes that this sickness is, the source of it is our brain. So how can an evil speech affect the clothing, affect the house? The Zohar explained to us, if there is an argument in a room, that room's going to get sick. That room's going to have a disease. Those buildings going to get sick. God forbidden. Somebody's suicide in some building, the Zohar says the whole building is going to get sick. The whole building going to be full of negativity. And that building must be destroyed. But if the room is getting sick, there is a way, by bringing back light to it, we can bring it back out of that sickness. We know there is a law in real estate, if somebody died or somebody suicide, they have to disclose it in an agreement. It's amazing how the American law follows the Torah. So how can an evil speech affect a house, a clothing? By the way, remind me to talk about this is, I wrote it, but I forgot to talk about it. So, you know, sometimes we buy a car and it can last us for 10, 15, 20 years, and we can buy a car that goes bad the first week. We can buy a clothes that can last us for a long time, some clothes that can go bad right away. So we see that materials somehow they react to the energies. Now we're going to talk about science, and this is we're going to learn about how our speak affect materials. We all went to school, we learned about materials, gold and aluminum and carbons. So the first thing that we see in material is if it's gold or if it's wood. Then if you look at it more closely, we start seeing molecules. And even if you break down the molecules, we start seeing atoms. And if we break down the atoms, we're going to see electron, proton, and neutron. This is the furthest they took us in high school. And then Professor Einstein came and he talked about this new concept called quantum physics. What is quantum physics? It's what the electron and neutron and proton are made of. So Professor Einstein explained that material goes as far as electron, neutron, and proton. If you break those particles, you're not going to see material anymore, you're going to see a wave. It's a wave of energy. So what really atoms are made of is not material, is a wave. So quantum physics teaches us that electron, neutron, proton is not a material anymore, is a wave, is an energy. And this is the concept of Kabbalah, that everything is made out of energy. Whose energy? Energy of God. We always talk about the 99% of spirituality and 1% of physicality. This is the proof of it, that everything made of energy, everything is made of a wave. Our body, it's all illusion. We see materials, but in reality, it's a wave, it's an energy. So if I talk evil in my house, I affect the atoms and the energy that make this house made of. So I'm changing its character, I'm changing its being. My clothes, my car, if there is negativity, if there is talk of sadness, depression, or fight, so everything around us become affected of it. We all walk into a house or come to a synagogue, so, oh my God, what a good energy. What's the difference between that drywall and another drywall? It's the same drywall. Why there is a good energy? Because that wave that made that wall is happy. It feels good. It's in the same direction it's supposed to be. And evil speech, it deteriorates. It takes its life expand away of any kind of a material. Is it clear how evil speech affects the materials? And the Zohar says, when it says you need to destroy that house that was full of negativity, because maybe it got to that energy, got to the point that you cannot switch it back anymore. You can't bring it back anymore. The scientist says the whole universe came out of one seed of mustard, the Big Bang. So if you condense all the material in the world, it is going to be like a seed, because it's all in reality is made of energy, made of wave. It is not made of material. And the Zohar says a beautiful thing. He says, if you see a house that is sick, destroy it, and then you're going to find the treasure. So furthermore, when we study the Zohar, he's talking about our body. He says, if you feel like there is a sickness going around or there is a negativity going around, you have to destroy your ego, not your body. You have to destroy your ego. And after you destroy your ego, you're going to find this treasure, which is your soul. And when you find your soul, you can rebuild your consciousness, your humanity all over again. And the Zohar explained that these diseases come in 3 stages. First, it comes as a warning. First, it comes as the internal organs, and it's not obvious. You know, sometimes, God forbid, somebody feels pain and he doesn't know. It says, no big deal, I'm not going to take care of it. Then the Zohar explained this sickness can come to our skin, but under our clothes, that nobody can see it. If I don't take care of it, then the last stages is going to come to the face and to the hands. That's obvious for everybody. So the Zohar says, as soon as you get this warning of an internal organ issue, know that there is something wrong with your spiritual consciousness. You are a negative person. Start changing to positivity. Start changing your lifestyle. Start practicing chesed. So it won't go to the extent that it's going to show itself. And Zohar says, come down to one formula of being healthy. He says, if you follow the 10 Sefirot, if you follow the 10 Sefirot, this is the DNA of the universe. This is how you can keep this wave healthy and happy, is by practicing the 10 Sefirot. If we don't practice the 10 Sefirot, then this wave is not going to be healthy anymore and it's going to get sick. Practicing the 10 Sefirot again and again. I love to share more with you guys because this is the best medicine we can give to a sick person. Malchut is joy and happiness, being joyful, being happy at every moment. I said before, the cheapest thing in the world can bring us the biggest happiness. You know, enjoying a flower, walk on the beach, having a good friend, is bring us joy and happiness. Next one is foundation. Have a good foundation for your life. You know, what could be better than Torah? What could be than spirituality? Yesod is also how to say no for whatever is damaging, for whatever is harmful to us. Yesod is also keeping a strong, united family. Then Hod. Hod is shalom, is peace, to have peace and to bring peace for others. By the way, when the beginning of Tazria is talking about male and female, the Zohar explained to us everything comes in a male and female. Everything comes in an aspect of giving and receiving. Male is giving and female is receiving. If I want to practice malchut, joy and happiness, is not only for myself. I have to bring happiness also to other people. I have to create other united families. I have to create peace for others. Netzach is bitachon, certainty, emunah. Tiferet, to have this balance, to have this beauty within myself, that I have a balance and everything is wonderful. Gevurah, to be strong enough to stand in front of my negativities. Chesed, practice kindness and love every single moment of my life. Bina is to have understanding. Chokhmah is to get wisdom. And Keter is change myself, create a new me. This is the recipe how to destroy leprosy, cancer, or any other diseases that exist in the world. And not practicing this little by little is going to bring deterioration to our body. One time I told you guys about the ages and compared to the 10 Sefirot. Up to 10 years old is Malchut. We're going to go through it really fast, and maybe some other time we're going to talk about it more. Up to 20 years old we are in Yesod. Up to 30 we are in Hod. Up to 40 we are in Netzach. Up to 50 Tiferet. Up to 60 Gevurah. Up to 70 years old we are in Chesed, and in Bina there is 5 levels, that's 50 years, 50, and 70, that's 120. When we say Moshe live up to 120, when we wish for each other to live up to 120, this is what we wish for. There is Nun Share Bina, 5 gates in Bina, so make it all together 120. So the Zohar says God take care of us up to age of 40. Really, it's good for us to be spiritual. It's good for us to change ourselves. But up to age of 40, God take care of us. Why 40? Because this is the children. Moshe, Aharon, and Yosef, and David, they were the children. This is the children, and this is the fathers. This is Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. He says, as long as you are a child, the Creator is going to take care of you. You know, our children, they don't pay rent. They don't have responsibilities. They don't pay mortgages. We take care of them. But as soon as we become parents, we start writing checks, right? We start paying bills. So up to 40, we still consider children. So why they say study Zohar, study Kabbalah when you are 40? Because you need it. In order to stay alive, in order to stay healthy, you need to study Kabbalah. It's not by choice. It's better to start earlier, but if you don't, 40 is the farthest you can go without Kabbalah. So when we become a parent, we are responsible. Nobody's going to take care of us anymore. After 40, God forbidden, we can become fatter or skinnier, or we start getting older. By practicing this 10 Sefirot, Bezrat Hashem, we're going to live up to 120, healthy, strong, and happy, disease-free. And this leprosy that the Torah talks about come in many stages. First, there is a warning. The Torah talks about the skin gets red, the hair starts falling, then the skin starts breaking, then it's changing colors, fire coming out of the skin, and many other descriptions. The whole 2 parashah talk about this disease. So, but it starts with the warning. It starts with the small messages. The Zohar explained to us that every day, every hour, every minute of our life, we are getting messages. This is Amir Jun's favorite subject. Everything is a message for us. If I hear a news, if I see a sign on a car, a bumper sticker, if I turn on the radio, I promise tomorrow morning we're going to listen to the radio. None of us going to listen to the same station. Each of us going to listen to a different station. Why? Because the message I need to hear is different than the message that you need to hear. The Zohar says, be aware. Everything, every minute, every second of your life is a message for you. There is the Zohar explained to us when we had the Bet HaMikdash, there was a mirror. There was a mirror in Bet HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. And 3 times a year, people had to go to Bet HaMikdash, Pesach, Sukkot, and Shavuot. And whoever standing in front of the mirror, he could see what's wrong with him spirituality. We can see what's wrong with us physically, but we cannot see what's wrong with us spirituality. There was this spiritual mirror in Bet HaMikdash that reflected back what was wrong with us. Am I an angry person? Am I a jealous person? Am I a hateful person? Am I not happy person? But the Zohar says that mirror doesn't exist anymore. But how do we have access to that mirror now? He says every single person that you know is the mirror that used to be in Bet HaMikdash. We are reflecting to each other what we need to see and learn about ourselves. This is one of the basic Kabbalah classes that we had here with Metzora, that if we see something's wrong with somebody, that's what's wrong with me. If I'm able to recognize, to see a jealous person, an angry person, that means I'm an angry person, I'm a jealous person. So every person in our life give us a hint, give us a message. So if we get this message, and if we learn to transform ourselves, if we learn how to change myself proactively on my own, then that disease won't develop. But if I keep ignoring the messages that comes to my life, if I the Zohar explains that if you see a sick person, get a message, because all the diseases are existing in our body. Then every single disease in the world is within our body, but it's sleeping, it's not awakening. So if we see somebody sick, God forbid, we have to be aware of it. We have to awake and say, maybe someday, God forbid that this is going to come to me. So I'm going to practice this recipe of staying healthy to push away that disease. Again, I want you guys to really understand this concept that everything in our life is a message. Anything on TV, radio, everything in this class is a message. And we have to pay attention to these messages, and we have to change and transform ourselves to a better person. The Zohar warns us. He says, if you are completely healthy, then don't fall for that delusion. That's not going to last unless you practice this recipe. You have to be aware of what you have, and thinking of it, God forbid, maybe you're going to lose it. The Zohar explained to us that somebody born extremely rich, and if somebody born in a family that they have $5 billion, he's not going to appreciate money. He's not going to have appreciation for none of it. So he says, if you're healthy, if you have a good family, if you have anything, that doesn't mean that you fall asleep and says, I have it and I don't have to be worried about it. He says constantly we have to take care of our health. We have to take care of our parnasa. This is what we do on Omer. We keep saying, you open the gates of health for us. Go open the gate of parnasa for us. We are healthy, but we still have to pray for it. Every Shabbat, Mr. Biram says, let's practice Mahash. Not because I'm sick, because I'm healthy and I want to stay healthy. So the Zohar says, usually we start praying and we start becoming spiritual and we ask God for miracles when we are all the way in the bottom. When you are so low, when you are, God forbid, sick, or we are out of money. The Zohar says, don't wait for that moment. Miracles going to happen, but it doesn't worth the disease, it doesn't worth the chaos to go through to maybe receive a miracle in the end. Avoid chaos and sadness and pain by practicing the spirituality and the 10 Sefirot. Another example of be aware of messages is, God forbid, if I have a toothache. Maybe I can go and it's just a simple $100 feeling and I'm going to take care of the problem. But if I ignore it, it's going to become a root canal and it's going to be a couple of $1,000 fixed. So he says, get messages constantly. Be aware of your surrounding. Everything, you usually talk about news. Is not for another country, is not for somebody else, it's for us. What is news? What message is news trying to tell me? Try to be aware of it. One practice says, try to remember that there was a small message, there was a small discomfort, and you didn't pay attention to it, and then it became a bigger problem. Is anybody can come up with an example of a situation like that? That there was a small hint, small message for a small chaos, but we didn't pay attention to it and then become more painful and a bigger pain. Can you think of an example?
My back pain.
The back pain. So, again, pain, physical body. We don't have to wait for it to happen. We can practice, be proactive. Not only in the spiritual way, we have to exercise, we have to eat right, but constantly we have to be aware of this healing. We have to work on healing. The that I was going to talk about, one of the 72 names of God, one of them is and the Zohar explained to us, by the way, this is the same that the Eastern country using. Are you guys aware of that sign, that the Indian and the Chinese use? If you remember, a few months ago, that the children of Avram go to the east, and they took the wisdom of Kabbalah with them to the east. So this is one thing they pick from Kabbalah. There is no explanation here. Is opening gates, is a bridge to go through the gates. And it's in the middle column is the same column of healing. So by meditating on is a bridge to the spirituality. If I want a bridge to healing, so I meditate on If I want a bridge to Parnasatova, I meditate on is opening a gate, is a way to get to where I want to get. So, God forbid, if somebody is sick or looking for Parnasa or looking for a soulmate, by meditating on is going to be able to open the gate for us. And there are people that they are healthy, they are happy, and they have a good business. Everything is fine. They have a good family. The Zohar says no. Don't fall for it. There is a funny thing. If somebody walks around and he says, "Oh, everything is perfect in my life. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I have a business," they says right away, gather 10 people and pray for him because he's in a great danger. So there is no such a thing. Everything is perfect. There is no perfect. There is no. Why? Because we have to have this desire to get better. If I'm in a perfect position, I don't want to transfer myself. I'm in my comfort zone. And my body, my surroundings is going to deteriorate. It's going to get old. We all know these rich and famous people, and we see how miserable they get toward the end because they think they have it all, but in reality they don't. He says, don't fall for this comfort that everything is okay. Everything is going to stay okay if you practice. Remember, up to age 40, they're going to take care of us. After age 40, we are on our own. So we need to take care of ourselves. And never say everything is okay, never say I'm comfortable, never say I don't have to make a move. We all constantly have to be on a move and transferring ourselves. And last week we spoke about a nice subject. With this we're going to end the class. We said that there was an argument between Torah and the Creator. The Creator created the Torah, and then the created one created a man. And the Torah was saying, no, don't create this man. This man is going to be negative, he's going to fall, he's going to be sad, he's going to be depressed, he's going to choose the wrong road, he's going to choose to be angry, he's going to choose to be sad. And back and forth, the Torah and the Creator were arguing. And the Creator told the Torah, don't worry. I'm going to take care of this guy. I'm going to have a patient, and I'm going to teach him ways to come back from where he's going to fall. The Zohar this week tells us we don't have value for something until we lose it. Until I don't lose something, I won't have a desire, I don't have a motivation to get it. So, losing something by design was created for us, so we're going to have a motivation to get it back. If I don't have something, then I won't have a motivation to get it. If I have it forever, then I won't have motivation to get more. So this system is working in a way, this universe working of losing something. When we lose it, then we're going to have the craving, we're going to have this lack that I want it back again. And this time around, not only am I going to bring it back for myself, I'm going to bring it for the entire community. So don't be sad, don't be depressed if you lose something. It's by design. If God forbid and I'm losing my health for a while, it's because to have appreciation for it. And to find a way how to heal myself and heal others. If I don't learn how to heal myself, I can never help somebody else. If I learn how to open a new business. When I lost my business, then I can help other people how to start a business. If I got my business for free, I don't know how to create a business, and I can't teach anybody else. So don't get sad, not even for a moment, if you lose something. It's by design. So you create this healthy craving, this healthy motivation to get more of it. And this time around, when you get it, then you're going to appreciate it and you're going to keep it for a long time. There is a lots of other information that we went through, but just to summarize everything, these two parasha talks about all the diseases, not only leprosy, God forbid, talking about cancer. And we learned that the source of all these diseases are anger, hate, controlling, proud, and hate. There is a large gimel in this parasha. This parasha talks about so many diseases, but there is a huge gimel in this parasha. It's oversized. Gimel, we know in Hebrew, stands for ga'ava, proud, ego. And this is the only letter that doesn't exist in the 72 names. We have 22 Hebrew letters. There are 21 letters in the names of God except Gimel, because there is no ga'ava, there is no ego in God or in His names. So there is a large Gimel in the Torah, and it's in the word legaleach, to shave off. So the Torah tells us, shave away, cut away the ego from your life to keep you healthy and happy forever after. And one more time, the reason for deterioration of getting old, of any material things around us, or nothing working around us, our clothes, our house, is because, God forbid, we're speaking evil tongue. We are talking negative. We need to bring spirituality to our houses. We need to bring spirituality to our family. We have to read Torah. We have to read Zohar. So this wave that everything made of is going to be a happy wave. We don't want to judge, but again, the Zohar explained to us, all the diseases starts from negative consciousness. Our brain is the king of our body. Our brain is controlling our body. Why they call this Sefirah Malchut? Malchut means kingdom. I'm in Malchut. I'm a kingdom. Who's the king? You know, is the president of the United States my king? No. I'm the king of my body. So all the parts of my body follow the king. Usually if there's a kingdom, the Torah doesn't call it democracy, it calls it kingdom. In a kingdom, everybody follow the king. Every part, every cell of my body follow my consciousness, follow my head. If we talk about this, that all of our parts in our body, they have ears, they have eyes, they can smell us. They are listening to us. Our heart, our kidneys, our lung is listening to us. They are looking at our actions. And they are following the king. Who's the king? My hand is not the king. The king is in my mind, my consciousness. So we want to give a good messages to these parts. You know, we have to be a good leader. We have to take the responsibility to say good, healthy, positive things. So all the body parts is going to stay healthy and happy. And we want to keep this wave. We want to keep this energy happy. That's how we summarize it. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, would love to answer.